Hey everyone, and thanks for jumping back into the cryptoverse. The Bitcoin bull market support band now ranges from 28,456 for the 20-week SMA to 31,879 for the 21-week EMA. If you guys like the content, please subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up. Also check out the Telegram channel, which you can find a link to in the description below. Now, the 20-week SMA and the 21-week EMA, if you are new to the channel, are our historical support levels in a bull market. Now, we've joked before that we're sort of growing old waiting for a test of the 20-week moving average. The last time we tested it was over here in October, and we held it as support. We said back then that if we correct to the 20-week moving average, which we did, we need to hold it as support. And if we hold it as support, this was the last thing we needed to confirm the start of the bull market. So the first thing was getting above the 20-week moving average. We also had a golden cross, which was the 50-day, and the 50-day crossing the 200-day moving average. And then we needed the last test, which was a successful test of the 20-week moving average that should last several weeks at the very least, and this one lasted 6 weeks. If you go back on the channel, back to September and October, we had two or three videos a week where we were saying, hold the line. If we hold it as support, we should get lift off, etc. We didn't know how long it was going to take, but we tested it for 6 weeks straight. The reason we look at it is because last cycle, that was our support. Now, it could be that we take a while before going back to the bull market support band. So far, if we do just a generally weekly update, so far, the last time we tested it was in October, and it's been approximately 140 days since we've last tested it. We've gone that long before. It's not like we're not quite in uncharted territory yet. If you look to see the last time we tested it here before we retested it again, all the way over here, it was about 182 days. So we've gone another 40 days before in the past without testing it, up to another month or so. So we have to consider that even though this has been a historical run and that we hope that the market cycle is just getting started, we'll probably have some corrections along the way. Now, that doesn't mean that we're going to go back to 28,451. We know that the 20-week moving average, the 21-week SMA, and the 21-week EMA are moving targets, okay? They're slowly climbing. Well, not so slowly anymore, but we're more or less moving up at this rate right now. And so, give it another, let's say if we go out another, from where we currently are, if we were to extend this out, say over here, and go out another 160 or 168 days total, the 20-week SMA could be pushing, it's probably not going to go straight up like this, but it could be pushing 40K in a few weeks if the price continues. The way in which it would reach 40K by the end of March would be if this continues just trending up. If this continues trending up, then of course we'll reach 40K by the end of March in terms of where the 20-week moving average is. So testing the 20-week moving average last cycle was our historical support. But as we've said before, one could argue that our current cycle, if we go back to the Bitcoin bull market support from 2 cycles ago, you could argue that it more so emulates this cycle rather than this one. Okay, this one we systematically tested the 20-week moving average every step of the way, all the way up. Well, this last one was not a test. And then here we had a test as well. Whereas in the cycle before, we left it and then didn't come back down to it until a long time later. So, if you go far back in Bitcoin's history, you can find fairly long periods of time before, between tests. This one in fact was 224 days. Okay, 224 days or 32 weeks. So if you go back 2 cycles, while the time between tests of last cycle ranged from 2 to 3 months, if you go 2 cycles ago, we actually went for 224 days at one point between tests of the 20-week moving average. And in fact, if we were to take a measured move from when we left the 20-week to when we retested it, the 20-week moving average had actually gone up 780% over over about 224 days or 32 weeks. If we were to go up about, say, 780% over 32 weeks, where would that put us in terms of retesting it? Well, that would put the 20-week moving average at $82,000 by May. Now, I don't think we're going to make it quite that high in terms of the 20-week moving average that quickly, because I don't think we'll be able to. I mean, if you look at this move, while our current move is fairly impressive, if we were to take a measured move, or if we got, like, say, the bar pattern from here all the way up to this point to see just how amazing this move was, and you compare it to say, the present day, you can see that that move back then was even more impressive, if you can believe it. I mean, look at this. Look how it was even more impressive than what we're doing today. So if you think what's going on today is crazy, look back 2 cycles ago and see what happened, okay? So what I would say is that it's probably not going to be quite as extensive as it was 2 cycles ago, but so far it appears that we're emulating 2 cycles ago more than the last cycle, because again, the last cycle was just a systematic retest of the 20-week moving average. So far this cycle, we tested it once, and we have not tested it yet again, okay? So if it were to take 32 weeks before we test it, which would be going back 2 cycles between tests, then that might, I mean, that could put us as late as May, if you know, which is somewhat unbelievable to think about. But you know, a lot of times we just looked at the last cycle, but going back to, say, this cycle, you know, you can see that the time between this test here and then the next test was about 32, 33 weeks. It looks like 32 weeks because it was this bar. 32 weeks. And then we had another move after testing it for a while. Let's just say, let's not include the wick right here, and let's take it from here. Another move that was a 25-week span. So we have to consider that this cycle so far, as we've said many times when we look at the, you know, Bitcoin, the beauty of mathematics videos and whatnot, that so far this cycle emulates 2 cycles ago more than it emulates last cycle. So I think these are really exciting times. I'm sure we'll test it at some point. We'll probably all have a few more gray hairs by the time we do. And when we actually test it, we'll probably even get more gray hairs. But this has certainly been one hell of a ride for Bitcoin. As we keep saying every single week, the likely direction remains up until there's a key definitive momentum shift, right? I mean, we obviously can say at any given time that, you know, the top is in, the top is in, the top is in. But until there's really a definitive top where we have a major correction, then the more likely direction for Bitcoin is up. Eventually that thesis will be wrong, because eventually we'll hit the top, but you'll be right more than you will be wrong if you just play momentum, right? Momentum is one thing that I think is that you can take to the bank. It's not financial advice, of course, but it's one thing that I feel like you can take to the bank. And that if you look at historical moves by a lot of different cryptocurrencies, the momentum of that asset is what can drive things a lot more than some random technical analysis patterns. Okay, and a lot of times people. I mean, again, I'm not going to take too many jabs at TA, because I know a lot of people are married to various forms of it, but a lot of times people love a lot of this traditional TA in bull markets, because as long as you end it with "and then it should go up," then everyone will believe that you have the most awesome TA in the world, because it generally just keeps going up. And then in bear markets, a lot of that same type of TA doesn't work out as much. And people start to become disenfranchised from it, because they think like, oh, well, you keep saying this, but it keeps not doing what you say. But in a bull market, as long as your TA generally ends with "and then it should go up," you're going to continue to be right, most likely. So hopefully this video has been informative. The 20-week moving average could be nearing or crossing 30K in 1 week, which would be a historic milestone. It'd be a historic milestone for the 20-week moving average to cross 30K. And remember, if we ever do, if and when we do test the 20-week moving average, it is not necessarily the end of the bull market. It just means we have to hold the line. If you guys like the content, make sure you subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up. Also check out the Telegram channel, which you can find a link to in the description below. And remember, we have the altcoin season sale for the premium list going on right now. Make sure you sign up and lock in the lower rate. You get access to the risk dashboard, the Telegram alerts channel, the TradingView indicators, the Telegram chat room, weekly videos, weekly reports, and more. Make sure you guys check it out, lock in the lower rate. At the very least, subscribe to the channel. This is a very exciting time in crypto. I think we're going to have a lot more fun this market cycle. Subscribe, turn on your alerts, give the video a thumbs up. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.